Happy NHL Free Agent Frenzy Day, everybody. We're only a couple of hours in, and there's already been a ridiculous amount of signings. I think more than 30 already, so the review that I'm going to upload for day one, either tonight or early tomorrow morning, is probably going to be very, very long. But not to get lost in the shuffle, along with all of the signings, we've also had 3 trades take place today, one of which being a pretty significant one involving a big name player, so I figured I would break down those 3 deals, give you guys my thoughts on them in this quick little video. Let's start off with the smaller deals first. This one, there isn't really any details on it just yet. I'm sure all the big insiders are kind of busy right now, but it was reported on by Shayna on Twitter, who works for the Athletic NHL and Sportsnet. All that was included in her tweet was, sounds like the Rangers have figured out a way out of Nemeth's contract by flipping him to Arizona. So Arizona, it seems like, again, is taking advantage, leveraging their cap space, taking on bad contracts, and most likely getting a draft pick or a prospect in this deal. Nemeth has 2 years left on his contract at a cap hit of $2.5 million. Didn't have a great first season in New York. Can definitely see why they wanted to rid themselves of the final 2 years of that deal, and it sounds like they were able to do that, just don't know what they gave up to do that just yet. Moving on down to the next deal, this one a 1-for-1 swap between the Bruins and the Devils. The Devils sent Pavel Zacha to the Boston Bruins in exchange for Erik Haula. This was definitely a strange one, really random trade as well. There was no rumblings leading up to this trade happening. It kind of just came out of nowhere. Erik Haula is heading into the final year of his contract. He'll be a UFA at the end of this upcoming season, has a cap hit of $2.375 million, while Zacha, on the other hand, he's currently an RFA and needs a new deal. These two players put up similar numbers this past season. In 78 games, Erik Haula had 18 goals, so just 2 shy of 20, and Pavel Zacha in 70 games had 15 goals. I think for the Devils, this deal really just screams they were ready to move on. Pavel Zacha was the 6th overall pick in the 2015 draft and never really lived up to the potential that, everybody thought he had, including the Devils, when they selected him 6th overall. He's 25 years old. Obviously, there are cases across the league of late bloomers, but I feel like at this point, you can probably safely assume that Pavel Zacha just is what he is, and that's definitely not a bad player, but I would say Erik Haula is probably better at this point. If you're Boston, I feel like this trade is just them wanting to get a little bit younger, take a chance on a former top 10 draft pick, and see maybe if there's any untapped potential there that they could get out of him that the Devils just weren't able to. All in all, though, this is a trade that probably won't have big implications one way or the other. I don't think one team got significantly better by making this trade. I don't think one team got significantly worse either. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Moving on down to the bigger trade that took place today, this one between the San Jose Sharks and the Carolina Hurricanes, and not to, pump my own tires here, but I did kind of call this in my bold predictions video for the offseason. I said that I feel like the San Jose Sharks are going to make a big move once they get their new GM, try to unload one of those big contracts, and that's exactly what they did here. And this wasn't even just a pure cap dump for the San Jose Sharks either. They got assets in return, so let's talk about the full details. The Carolina Hurricanes acquired defenseman Brent Burns from the Sharks. The Sharks are retaining 33% of Burns' $8 million cap hit, and they've also acquired Lane Peterson along with Burns in exchange for Steven Lorenz, goaltender prospect Eetu Makiniemi, and a 3rd round pick in 2023. So sure, the Sharks didn't get back a crazy package for a defenseman who just put up 54 points, but at least they got something and didn't actually have to attach, valuable assets to Burns just to rid themselves of the final couple years of that contract. So let's start with the San Jose Sharks and look at this deal from their point of view. I think this is a no-brainer for them. It's time to start looking forward to the future. It's time to start unloading some of those veteran players on your team that are on those huge contracts. You get a usable NHL forward in Steven Lawrence. He played an entire season in the NHL this past year with the Canes. He's a solid bottom 6 guy. You get that 3rd round pick, and I would say maybe the most intriguing asset coming back is Eetu Makiniemi. He was a 4th round pick in 2017 by Carolina, just had his first North American pro season this past year. He played for the Chicago Wolves and had a .922 save percentage in 14 games, so he's definitely a nice prospect to add to the Sharks system. That's a team who doesn't really have, a goaltender of the future in the organization yet, so who knows, it could end up being Makiniemi. And now taking a quick look at this deal from the point of view of the Hurricanes, I like it. They had to replace Tony DeAngelo and what he brought to the table last season. Brent Burns is still a very capable offensive defenseman. Like I said, he just had 54 points this past season, very capable of quarterbacking a power play, and he's going to a team where he's not going to have to play the ridiculous minutes that the Sharks were trotting him out there for, basically for the past decade. He's going to have a lot of help on that blue line with the likes of Slavin, Pesce, and Brady Shea. I think Brent Burns is going to fit in beautifully in Carolina, and with his deal being 33% retained, what's that work out to be, like $5.5 million, something along the lines of that? I think that's a pretty decent price point to have a guy like Brent Burns at for the next couple of seasons. I don't think there's a whole lot of risk involved here for the Canes. So those are my thoughts on the 3 trades that took place today so far on day 1 of the NHL free agent agent frenzy. Of course, like I said, be sure to look out for my day 1 review video that will either be up late tonight or early tomorrow morning, where I'm going to go over all of the signings that took place. That should be a long one, so if you're looking forward to that, please be sure to leave this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all soon.